Tonight, social media shots fired. The board of directors for the Bear Clan Patrol go online to counter allegations made by their former executive director.
We're actually building road on a real job site.
And a fly-in community in the Northwest Territories will soon be connected by road, and students are learning how to build it. Winnipeg police have identified human remains on the bank of the Red River earlier this month. The body, discovered on August 7th, has been confirmed to be 41-year-old Wayne Leslie Melnichuk. On April 20th, a nationwide warrant was issued for Melnichuk in connection with the death of his 34-year-old wife, Julie Brissett. Brissett's body was found in a Winnipeg home on April 11th, and her death was determined to be a homicide. Police believe that Melnichuk then drowned himself soon after. Still in Winnipeg, questions continue to linger after the abrupt dismissal of Bear Clan Patrol Executive Director James Favel last month. Favel had previously alleged his firing stemmed from an overreach on the part of the board, among other concerns. But the board of the Neighborhood Watch Group is disputing those claims on social media. Brittany Hobson explains.
The board of directors for Bear Clan Patrol are firing back after what they call a number of false allegations made by former executive director James Favel. In a statement posted to the group's Facebook page, the board addressed a number of the claims that have come out since Favel's firing last month. In it, they write, James Favel has not been forthcoming about the causes for his dismissal. Serious human resources issues came to light that were independently confirmed, and they are among the reasons for his dismissal. The board dismissed Favel July 31st. Shortly after, the longtime executive director and face of Bear Clan Patrol went public with claims he was bullied and betrayed by the current board. A workplace safety and health investigation was completed this year, stemming from a complaint about Favel's conduct, according to the statement. When the board attempted to address a formal staff complaint against Mr. Favel in March 2020, he responded by hiring a lawyer and attempting to dismiss the board. Concern over the diversity of the board and police involvement were also addressed. The board is made up of Indigenous, Filipino, Black, and white members. There are 2 directors on the board with current or former connections to the Winnipeg Police Service. The decision to post a statement online was critiqued by many, with the move being called unprofessional. A petition to reinstate Favel has been circulating online and is now sitting at nearly 2,500 signatures. APTN has reached out to Favel numerous times. He has declined interview requests. The organization's annual general meeting was set to take place August 24th, but has been postponed due to the pandemic. Brittany Hobson, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
We want to hear what you think about the future of the Bear Clan without James Favel. Here's how you can continue the conversation. You can send your emails to news@aptn.ca. You can find us online at aptnnews.ca and on youtube.com/aptnnews. You can also follow APTN News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more Indigenous news. Land defenders in Six Nations got a boost of support from traditional chiefs there, while a local municipal leader is losing patience with the situation. Here's Elena McDougall from Caledonia, Ontario.
A convoy from Guelph arrived at the 1492 Land-Back Lane camp just before dusk yesterday, flags flying as vehicles circled the land.
We're here to be united together so that people know that this is our land and that we as Aboriginal people, we're not giving up 1 acre more. We're not giving up 2 acres more of our land. So much has already been taken and stolen.
But not all supporters are supportive of the land reclamation. Haldeman County Mayor Ken Hewitt released a statement today taking issue with claims that the land is stolen. Meanwhile, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy Chiefs Council, a traditional government of the Six Nations people, is now supporting land defenders. In an August 15th letter, they call the Mackenzie Meadows development unlawful. And they are asking Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Premier Doug Ford to sit down at the table in good faith and discuss the long-standing issues. We know that this issue will not be resolved by the use of injunctions which escalate matters with the attempt to impose Canadian law and criminalize our people for simply asking that the Crown honour its treaty commitments. On August 10th, Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Carolyn Bennett said Canada is working on historical claims and land rights issues with Six Nations. She said in her statement that it is our hope that the parties involved continue to work together to find a constructive, respectful, and positive way forward. Since then, requests for further comment have been declined. Meanwhile, OPP remain on standby, ready to enforce an injunction against ongoing road blockades in Caledonia and land defenders at the Mackenzie Meadows development. Elena McDougall, APTN National News, Caledonia.
Thanks, Elena. Still in Caledonia, Six Nations Police and Fire Department responded yesterday to a fire at the home of elected Chief Mark Hill. The house was fully engulfed when they responded, but nobody was there or injured. Investigators are working with the Ontario Provincial Police to determine the cause, and OPP have said they could be dealing with an arson investigation. Joe Norton, Grand Chief of the Mohawk community of Ganawage near Montreal, was laid to rest today. Norton passed away on Friday at age 70 and served his community for over 30 years after he was elected Grand Chief in 1980. Before his political career began, Norton was an iron worker. He would later become a key player during the 1990 siege of Kanesatake. Those who paid respects on Wednesday remember Norton as a fierce defender of Indigenous rights, one who took the time to make allies and educate prominent figures about his community's needs.
He didn't have to take the time for my curious mind. I mean, he'd outlived about a dozen or so prime ministers. So why bother with me? But I think that's what I've come to learn was two things. His ingrained sense of respect, and second, that he took a chance on me. For that, I'm grateful.
Grand Chief Norton and Ganawage as a whole always believed that they had the strength as a nation to do it on their own, to stand on their own. But rather than doing that, they always waited for other nations to come and join them.
Joseph Gosnell, lead negotiator on a historic treaty for the Nisga'a Nation in British Columbia, has passed away. Gosnell had been in a long battle with cancer. He died at his home at the age of 84. Gosnell was president of the Nisga'a Nation for the province's first modern-day treaty. That was finalized with both BC and the federal government in 2000. He traveled the world as an ambassador to the nation and received recognitions for his contributions. Gosnell received the Order of BC Award in 1999 and was named a companion to the Order of Canada in 2006. Current Nisga'a President Eva Clayton says their nation lost a giant.
He was a man who carried himself quietly and with dignity. But when he spoke, he was heard. He was the Nisga'a Nation's ambassador. He left a legacy. This legacy lives on in his families.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has released more than 5,000 pages of documents related to awarding the We Charity contract. Trudeau announced the release on the same day he prorogued Parliament, a move the Conservatives say was done to halt the committees looking into the controversy. The Globe and Mail reports that the newly released documents appear to back up Trudeau's contention that federal public servants recommended awarding the contract to We.
We have released all those documents to the members of the committees so that they can spend their time going through those mountains of documents over the coming weeks so that they can continue to ask any questions they like on this issue.
Parliament is now prorogued until September 23rd to allow the government to focus on creating a plan to help the country recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. The Liberals will then deliver a throne speech outlining the government's next steps in dealing with the crisis. Well, we need to take a break, but still ahead, a new all-season road means new connections and jobs for a Clecho community in the Northwest Territories. I'll tell you all about that when we come back. First, here's a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. To the east coast, we've got 25 and a mix of sun and cloud in St. John, 25 and sunshine in Halifax. La Grande River, 15 and cloud. Inukjuak, 15 and sunshine. Saguenay, 20 degrees and mostly sunny skies. Montreal, 23 and sunshine. Ottawa, 19 degrees with some showers. 28 and sunny for Toronto. Kapuskasing, 22 and sunshine. Big Trout Lake, 23 and sunny. Norway House and God's Lake and Thompson can expect some rain. 23 degrees there. 33 with some showers in Winnipeg. 32 and sunny in Brandon. Regina, 34 degrees with some showers expected. 30 for North Battleford and Saskatoon and sunny skies. Stony Rapids, 18 with showers, sunshine, and 18 for Uranium City. Welcome back to the Ontario-Manitoba border area now, where a wildfire forced the evacuation of a mining town and a nearby First Nation late last week. Heavy rain on Friday and Saturday helped fire crews get the upper hand. More than 3,500 people were forced to leave Red Lake and the Evacuation First Nation last week as the flames burned toward the town. At one point, the fire was just 2 kilometers away. Red Lake residents were allowed back to the community yesterday. Still on the topic of fires, a raging wildfire in BC's Okanagan Valley has prompted the evacuation of more than 300 homes, and thousands more residents remain on edge. These are some of the overnight images of the fire on Christie Mountain north of Okanagan Falls. It's grown to 10 square kilometers. The rocky sloped terrains are making it challenging for ground crews to fight the blaze. A remote Clecho community in Northwest Territories will soon be connected by an all-season road. Local residents are also helping out and receiving training in construction jobs for the project. Our reporter Charlotte Mort-Jacobs takes us to the job site.
This isn't your average job site, but a turning point in history for the small Clecho community of Wati, Northwest Territories. A dozen students from the region are training for the certification in heavy equipment operation and shaping their future, quite literally, as they help build a 97-kilometer all-season road which connects the 400-person community of Wati to the rest of the NWT. Kimberly Football from the neighboring Clecho community of Wekwati says access to similar training opportunities is a challenge.
But is this machine at zero energy state?
Yeah. Wanting to leave her office job behind, she says she's enjoyed this experience.
When we got in the ditch in one of those muddy areas, and one of the rock trucks went in first. So for it to get out, we had to use a dozer, and I was on the dozer.
After 2 weeks of classroom safety and maintenance training, students learn in rock trucks, excavators, and dozers.
Well, you got your sprocket, but remember what drives your machine.
Instructor Scott Russell says the real-world experience will greatly improve employability.
We're not setting up mock areas where they're digging a hole and filling the hole, or putting a pile of gravel and let the bulldozer fill it in. We're actually building road on a real job site.
For activating the hydraulics.
Okay.
The new road also means new mines near Wati. Joseph Simpson says it's important that the Clecho get first access to infrastructure and resource jobs. And it's training like this that will help them protect their land.
Pretty much watch the land, the first thing for me. Yeah, make sure there's no debris on the land, and make sure to pick up after ourselves and if we see somebody doing something like that, we make sure we report it.
Yeah, check that daily. Pamela Moosnose of Wati is hopeful that year-round access will improve the quality of life for her community.
So if people were to buy a house, a trailer, they can transport it here. It'd be easier instead of waiting for winter. Yeah, and when the plane comes into in the fall, it's always foggy, so the plane's it's always delayed and canceled.
Construction of the roughly $4 million all-season road is set for completion by fall of 2021. The 5-week program wrapped up this past Saturday, and students here say they're excited for the road that lies ahead. Charlotte Mort-Jacobs, APTN National News, Wati.
Thanks, Charlotte. A Mi'kmaq community in Nova Scotia is using a recent court win to try to stop a highway project. Shebaganagadek First Nation says the Windsor Causeway on the Avon River is blocking fish passages. They're concerned for the future of their traditional food source. Cheryl Maloney is the community's consultation lead, and I spoke with her earlier this week. So the Nova Scotia Supreme Court said in its Alton Gas decision that environmental assessments do not fulfill the Crown's duty to consult. Can you explain what's happening in Shebaganagadek and how the Alton Gas decision might impact this consultation process?
Well, we've been on our own as a community for a number of years. We didn't want to sit on any of the framework tables that were out there or have anyone consult for the community. So we've been struggling for years trying to meet the strict timelines under environmental assessments and to try to make Aboriginal rights fit within a very foreign process that's not meant for us. And so our community all along, especially with Alton Gas, was saying we need to be consulted on rights, and environmental assessments do not have the scope or mandate to address Indigenous rights. They're very time-consuming. They're very technical. There's a lot of sort of a document dumps through these processes. So individual communities were never able to actually operate within those processes. We just didn't have the capacity, and there was no purpose to it because they couldn't really look at rights or address rights or look at the legal duties that are imposed on the Crown. So the Alton Gas decision said exactly what we were saying all along, that you need to consult with us on rights, and that can't be done as stakeholders in environmental assessment processes. So we started community consultations a number of years ago on how our members wanted to be consulted. Our community, my chief and council, realized that they have duties, fiduciary duties to our members as rights holders, but also the limitations in the Indian Act. So in order for them to sort of lead a process for rights, it had to be done with the rights holders. So this is beyond the Indian Act. It's more of a self-governing initiative that is led by the chief and council. And so that's where we are as a community. We're prepared to start engaging with the Crown and industry, but it has to be done the way our members want to be done. So they have to be a big part of the process. And it has to be done based on rights, not environmental assessments and not as stakeholders.
So what happens next?
Well, we're engaging our community again. We're sending out, we're doing our mail out. We have a film and some booklets and the protocol that is going to be going to all of our members. And so that's being prepared. We are looking at doing consultations on a couple of projects where there's fish kills in the Windsor Causeway. There was fish kills and concerns about the Alton Gas brining. So our community has taken a couple of those priority files, and we're going to start with, it's really interesting in Nova Scotia because we had a government that said we were conquered. But the courts at the Supreme Court and the courts in Nova Scotia told the Crown, in order to upkeep the honor of the Crown, the first thing you have to do is tell us what you think the strength of claim is of the Mi'kmaq rights, the Mi'kmaq title assertion, and the Mi'kmaq treaty rights. So the first thing they have to do under this process and what the courts have said is to tell us what they think the strength of our claim is. So they can no longer take that adversarial position in the courts that say, oh, we think you're conquered, you're not even there. That will poison their whole process. So right now we're going to wait for the Crown to determine what they think the strength of our claim is. And then at that point in time, we will negotiate capacity funding, and we will develop an internal consultation process for our members. Wow. And internal consultation process will be based on the impact of rights. So we can, at one extreme, the Haida decision where, there's a strong right, a strong infringement that you may need the consent of nations, to the other end where it's mere notice. So that will be determined on a case-by-case analysis with our community members and based on rights.
Well, we will be watching. Thanks for taking the time to enlighten us out in the western part of the country what's going on there.
Thank you.
Hockey fans said farewell to an NHL great. We've got some of the tributes after the break. First, here's a look at the rest of tomorrow's weather for the west and the north. To northern Alberta, we got 19 in showers for Fort Chip, 24 in showers for Fort McMurray. Showers and 23 degrees for Edmonton, 30 with a chance of showers for Lethbridge. Showers and 24 in Vancouver, 28 in showers in Kamloops. 19 in Prince Rupert, showers there. 22 for Mayo and Dawson City, showers expected there. 18 in Fort Simpson, sunny skies, rain for Trout Lake in 18. Palatec 11, mostly sunny. Sax Harbor, mix of sun and cloud and 7 degrees. 13 in rain for Baker Lake. Whale Cove 11 in rain. Joe Haven 8 and showers. Clyde River 7 and showers. Pangertung sunshine and 13. Former Winnipeg Jets star Dale Howardchuck has died at the age of 57.
Howardchuck scores!
Howardchuck's son Eric says his father died after a brave and difficult battle with cancer, adding that the family was proud of the way he fought. The Hall of Famer played for Winnipeg from 1981 to 1990. The team picked him first overall in the 1981 draft. He played in the NHL for 16 years and later coached the Barrie Colts in Ontario. Well, that is all the time that we have for your news tonight. Be sure to check out our website, aptnnews.ca, for anything that you might have missed. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Have a great night.